Hello YouTube, this is Mark Hill, the Traveling NP. Wanted to take an opportunity. I see a lot of chatter and I get a lot of notes from people that are just, a lot of them are nurse practitioner students, or a lot of them are nurses who are interested in locums life and wanting to become a locum tenens provider when they get out of school or after nurse practitioner school. And I wanted to give you a few pointers about people who are contemplating it, new grads, people who will be graduating in the future, things of that nature. I hear a lot of questions, especially on Facebook. I'm on a lot of these NP travel, locums sites, and I read a lot of things where people are wanting to know what the pay is for a brand new graduate and all these things. And so what I want to say to new nurse practitioners or nurses that are becoming nurse practitioners who are interested in locums, I feel like it's very important in just about any field that you pay your dues. And by pay your dues, I mean, really, you need to get your experience. Locums is not, in my opinion, it is not a great deal for a new graduate. Matter of fact, I would say it's probably a bad deal for a new graduate. I would say that a new graduate from nurse practitioner school or physician's assistant school is making a huge mistake by going straight into locums. I know of people who have done it, who have done okay, but not many. Now, I'm not saying that you aren't a good provider. I'm not saying you won't be a great provider. I'm just saying you don't have enough experience as a provider, period, as a brand new graduate, as a nurse practitioner or a PA, to jump straight into locums. Nobody does. Even the ones who have been successful at it, most of them will probably tell you, if they were honest, that they would have been a lot better off to get some experience. And the more experience you can get, better off you'll be. I would say, without a doubt, you need at least a year's experience working in a family practice setting or an emergency room setting. At least a year, and probably 2 years or more. It's the kind of thing where when you come out of nurse practitioner school, you're going to have a hard time really realizing what you're doing at all, much less trying to figure out brand new software, navigating a new place every 3 months. Yeah, you really need to get some experience under your belt. 2 years would be great. 3 years even better. And after that, I think you could come out and probably function pretty well. Now, let me say another thing too. You nurse practitioners who are specializing in gerontology or, peds, things like that, you're going to find it a little bit harder to find jobs that you're going to be able to nail down. The more specialized you are, the more pigeonholed you are. And what I found in locums is that most of these companies and these jobs really want generalists. They want people who can see all ages and do all things. Now, there's one exception to that rule, and that's the psych NPs. I'm seeing a lot of job opportunities for psychiatric trained nurse practitioners. And that seems to be a very up-and-coming field, especially in the locums. And I'm fairly sure that the money is pretty good there. But in general, jobs want generalists. That means people who are not afraid to see babies, not afraid to see 95-year-old women. And the more training you get for example, I'm ACLS, PALS, NRP, ATLS certified, which means I'm certified to resuscitate adults, pediatrics, neonates, and then I'm also trauma certified to work in the emergency rooms. And those certifications you have to keep up. ATLS is every 4 years. The others are every 2 years. You have to redo your certifications. They want all those too, especially if you're working in the emergency room setting or the urgent care setting. They want generalists. They want people who are going to be able to see all ages from the cradle to the grave. And they also want you to, if you can, and you're working in an emergency room, they want you to be or have some experience with delivering babies under your belt under emergency situations. It's not something that I do regularly. It's not something that I like to do. But I have had to deliver babies. And because of that, I went through a fairly intensive little preceptorship with a family practice OB physician a couple of years ago, and got in on several deliveries, and he helped me. He let me assist, and let me pretty much be hands-on for the whole experience. And I did several deliveries like that to where I felt not comfortable, but fairly comfortable with the process, to where if it happens in an emergency situation, I know that I can handle it as far as an uncomplicated delivery. Now, complicated deliveries, that's a whole different issue. When you got a complicated delivery, you're talking C-sections, you're talking, issues that I cannot and would not even attempt to do. And so you've got to get those people to where those services can be performed. So you got to be trained. You've got to have some experience. You've got to have all your certifications. You've got to make yourself as marketable as possible in order to get the best jobs and make the best money. And as you go along, you start getting more and more experience. You're going to be more and more marketable, and people are going to be really looking to find you, seek you out, and put you to work. New grads, my advice, get some experience. Get a year's worth of experience. Focus on family practice. After a year in family practice, get into the ER. If you want to do ER stuff, go sign up, work an ER PRN. Get into a program where they'll put you through an ER program, teach you some stuff. Learn how to put in chest tube. Learn how to intubate. Learn how to work up cardiac and stroke and all those things. You got to have experience. You got to pay your dues. Paying your dues as a nurse practitioner is very, very important in the locums community, because these hospitals and these clinics, they want you to hit the ground running, full speed, full bore. They're going to give you a day or two to figure out the charting, the software, and then they want you to produce. You're not there to be a drag and holding things back. You are there to produce. I can tell you that when I walk into these emergency rooms and these rural areas and these small towns up in the north and northwest, there is no real orientation. You walk in and you say, "Hey, I'm Mark, I'm your provider," and they say, "Hey, there's your patients." And that's pretty much the truth. And then they ask you, "Are you familiar with Meditech? Are you familiar with Epic? Are you familiar with Mastermind?" And hopefully your answer will be, "Yes, I am familiar with those." Because if it's no, then you got a long road ahead of you. I have had to learn, for example, a while back, I had to learn Meditech on the fly. I learned Meditech as I was charting on the patient. That's a hard way to learn. So you got a nurse standing over your shoulder, showing you where to go, what to hit, and how to chart it. They didn't want to hand feed me. I was taking care of patients, and then I sat down and learned Meditech. That's just the way it is. They want you to hit the ground running. They want you to be confident. They want you to be a good clinician. And they also want you to be flexible. If you come in there making demands and making life hard on everybody, they're not going to have you back. I can promise you that. I've seen it happen a ton. If you're not flexible, if you're not easy to get along with people, if you can't decipher information quickly and then redistribute that information quickly and communicate well, this probably ain't the business for you, because you got to hit the ground. You got to hit the ground running and produce. That's what you're there for, is to produce. Anyway, my advice, new grads, people who are thinking about locums that are in school now, do yourself a favor. Get some experience. Get some good ground experience. Learn all you can. Get your certifications. Learn, so that when you go into locums, you're not going in blind and you're not going to be a drag on whatever facility you're working at. Anyway, hope that advice helps you. And anyway, if you have any questions, hit me up and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Okay, thanks a lot. This is Mark Hill, the Traveling NP. Until next time, I'll see you later.